Hello, hello. I think I'm live. This is not what I intended to do. What I intended to do was record via StreamYard and then upload it. And what I think just happened is I'm not in the right settings, and my only option was to go live. But let me just see. Am I live on my channel right now? Oh, yep, I am. Okay. So I committed to doing a video every day in August as I relaunch this channel. If you've never been here before, hello, my name's Alicia, and this is Slasher Chick TV, where most of the time we like to talk about growth mindset and negotiation strategies. So you never have to choose between this or that. You can say yes to this slash that and be the multi passionate person that you are. And so, because of that, then I might sprinkle in a little bit of like lifestyle type content that for me is still around growth mindset and negotiation strategies. And one of the things about having a growth mindset is recognizing when there's opportunities for improvement and having the self awareness to seek that feedback. And I typically do not rewatch my videos, and one of the things I realized is that that's a myth because you can get better at your content creation by rewatching your past videos. So why would you not, as someone who's trying to improve, watch your past gameplay? Like that is exactly what athletes do. And I was thinking about it as you try to get better at anything, looking back helps you prepare to look forward. And I really want to get back to vlogging. I really enjoyed vlogging, and one of the things about vlogs um, is that it gives you a video diary that you're able to go back and look to. So that's one of the things I really enjoy about it. But in all fairness and truth, like when you're doing a vlog on YouTube where you don't have a large audience, nobody really cares about your life, except if there's some kind of unique things. I think some of the unique things that work to my advantage is being someone in my 40s on YouTube, living in a large metropolitan city like Philadelphia that lots of people like to come visit and perhaps want to learn about before they visit. Being Black in tech, and particularly being non-technical in tech, is one of the things that I also think gives me some kind of unique aspects that I could play off of that would make my blogs a little bit more interesting to certain audiences, but otherwise they don't know me, they don't care. And that was kind of where I left off when I was previously vlogging. But I realized just how much I miss it. I like the storytelling of it all. Now that got me thinking about a whole different thing, which will probably be my next video on why people like vlogs. But in the meantime, I had also recently shared with some of my family members about my YouTube channel. I shared with them the link. And as I started to watch a past video with my grandma, I was noticing all these things that I'm like, oh my God, like that looks like that. Like it was a graphic I put up and I didn't realize it was like way too short. No matter how many times I edited it, I had an edit blindness, I guess. And so that's what made me also think, okay, I need to actually go back and rewatch old content if I'm trying to improve every day and if I'm also trying to get 1% better. So with that in mind, one of the next things I wanted to do was rewatch one of my old vlogs so I can get back to vlogging because I love the video diary aspect of it all. But they do have to be more interesting for people to want to watch vlogs. And that's what the video is going to be today. So without further ado, here we go into what was kind of my last, because I wanted my vlogs to be a series around the fact that literally none of us know what we're doing. And so that's why it's called What Am I Doing? That's how I wanted to theme the vlog. But at any rate, I'd only done two. This was my second vlog when I came to that realization that nobody hears. Here we go. We're just going to take a look at it. Hey there, YouTube, Slasher Chicks and Slasher Dudes. My name is Alicia, and this is Slash. Now, this I would like to say I should have found it before this live stream. I started using the term slasher dudes when someone said in my first video of what's a slasher chick and are you one? Someone wrote in the comments like, "Oh, I want to be a slasher dude. Is that something I can be or something like that?" And I like the way it rhymed with YouTube slasher dude. It's like a slant rhyme. Anyway, so I have had that part of the intro for like a while. I love it when people's channels have intros. I I know that it's like less of a thing at this point in YouTube, but when I have a content creator that I really like and they have an intro or outro that I can say along with them, I it makes me feel connected. Like Marlene, just know it, just be it, just breathe it, and live your best life. I love singing along with her song. Let me think. And the game rewatching my gameplay was something that really came from a creator, Coach Sherry, who it's one of her outros about reminding people to just always be ready. Like if you practice like you are in the game, when you get called into the game you will be able to deliver. Like that message has resonated with me, and so I want to approach things more like an executive athlete, right? So hence I got to rewatch my gameplay. Back to the video. And I also, okay, and then on personal notes, there's some things that I realized since this video is now 4 years old, going on 5. I really miss that hair. I loved that wig too. What did I? Oh, that was my alarm to make sure I started recording my video by now, or else I wouldn't make my deadline. Okay, now that I've told Alexa to stop, yeah, I love that hair so much. And the ring light is still live and kicking. And this little oh, you can't even really see what I'm trying to point at, but I had this love statue in the back that's very Philadelphia that it broke in a move, and I'm really bummed about. Your Chick TV. And this is another installment for my What the F Am I Doing vlog video series. Vlog video series. That's very redundant. So this is another installment of, I guess, what is a weekly What the F Am I? Okay, yes. I really want to do weekly vlogs. I don't think that my life is so interesting I could do daily vlogs. I don't know that I think anybody's life is really that interesting except for maybe Amber Scholes. Because but I'm always surprised at how there are literally unknown YouTubers that have over 1 million subscribers that are making a living out of just showing their lives, which I did not. I should probably make a video about that, about every time I've gone down the rabbit hole and then looked and like, who is this? Like, they've got like 4 million subscribers. Who is this person? But like 4 million people are watching their content and essentially paying them to create. That's wild to me. So anyway, I want to get back into the weekly vlog of it all. You can make every week interesting enough to tell a good story, I think. Oh, how did we start it? Doing vlog series, because when I tried to daily vlog, I realized I don't have enough things that are actually interesting daily. I work a lot, and that's why this channel is supposed to be about work-life integration. Now, I love that. See, and this is why the beauty of having a video diary, because I've definitely made some. Okay, my lighting is like way too not light enough right now. Ooh, okay, and now it's too late, but we're just gonna keep it pushing, okay? So anyway, I definitely achieved more balance since I made this video. When I originally made this video, I had either just started this role or I don't know, because I either way, and ultimately in 2020, I worked at 2 different startups. So I love startup culture. It does require you to work a little bit differently than other people because you are trying to launch a business. Ideally, one that's successful enough that someone else wants to buy it. So I do often say, it's like, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. That's where so it definitely is a different kind of space. And so I had to work really hard to have better work life integration, and so that I didn't burn out. I mean, I definitely did burn out at one point, and I had a solution for it. This may be a different story time for another day. I did not get to the point where it became a medical challenge, thank goodness, but that's because of the environments that I've worked in, that I've had the ability to share when you're at that point. Well, and I'm not even all the environments I worked in, but certainly my current company. Because I also try to make time for things that are important to me, things that I'm passionate about, spending time with friends and family when my introvert self wants to be social, and things like that. So, way more social now. Still introverted. I just recharge mostly with me, but I do more things. So I think I have more to capture at this point. I know I don't. Like, this was before I started solo traveling. I was in a I was in a different relationship, and that I was in one that was less active. And now when I'm in a relationship with myself, we go out on a whole lot more dates. um so there's more to capture is basically the point. I think certainly the fact that I solo travel, people, when I talk to them about it in real life, are always so amazed by that, and I don't get it. Like, I don't think it's that courageous of a thing to do. I think more people should do it. So I think that's another thing to tell stories about the benefits of solo travel. But as carrying on, I do want to work all the time, but I know that's not a truly full. Now, that's also why I've always been like a hustle and happiness channel in that respect. But I was getting away from that because I understand hustle has a negative connotation for people. Mine is that I have always done work that I love, either because one, I enjoy not just the one, I enjoy the company that I work for, I enjoy the work that I do at said company, and I feel like I have identified work that for me is a vocation, right? It's a part of what I'm meant to contribute to the world. So when I get frustrated, I have that to fall back on. And that's why hustle to me doesn't necessarily have a negative connotation. But I don't think that people should be working to the point of not experiencing joy and bliss in their life. And I'm not trying to encourage that kind of culture. So that's and robust life. So I try to have better integration through my work and my life, so that my work also feels like a part of my personal life, and it's just like I just get to play all the time, which in many ways it does feel that way. And stupid hair. And I'm closer to creating. What's wild is that my nose was itching then when I was recording. Oh, but that was because of the wig. And even better life that I love and work that I'm passionate about. Now, one of the things I want to clarify about what I mean on this channel when I say hustle/happiness is that hustle to me means having unwavering satisfaction through learning every day. That's the way I look at hustle. Maybe I want to keep that. See, this is why I need to go rewatch my gameplay. Because I've never been one that's like, oh, you should work all the time to like pray to get ahead. Not if that's not what you want, boo. Don't live like that. But this is how I'm defining hustle. I've always been someone who had what's the word I'm looking for? I value lifelong learning, and so it's a way to acknowledge that. This isn't a bad blog, actually. May mean that you are getting that unwavering satisfaction through learning how to launch a business every day, or through learning how to grow your family every day, but just being able to pursue your passions in a way that keeps you happy. So this week, I took some time to actually be social and stuff. Okay, I get it. To be social and chick. I just want to use chick in place of every. Yeah, that's not how I normally say it. So that's why I'm like, ooh, how do and I think I'm still trying to figure that out in terms of what's authentic, because hey, Marlene, I do use the cursey words or cursive language, and I don't necessarily want to use that on my channel because I realize it does offend some people. And it's like, it's like seasoning your food. You gotta season for a larger group here. Um, but I still say that I'm out here being social and shit. Okay, here we go. Potential curse word I would use. This week I decided to be social and stuff, and I continued what has been at least a 5-year tradition, I think, for me, in going to Dinner en Blanc. And if you've never heard of Dinner en Blanc, it's like this pop-up dinner. They have it in cities all over the world. Okay, that also feels really awesome because I am literally preparing for Dinner en Blanc again. And so knowing that not only have I been able to continue that tradition, but it has evolved because friends have moved out of the area or moved into the area. And like the group of people that go together has become different, but still having that as like an experience every year is really cool. And I've kind of been expanding the Dinner en Blanc experience, but we'll see how much more of that happens this year. I'll save that for a future thing. Dinner en Blanc. But I think I'm about to talk about it, Marlene. Let's see. The BLANC, the French word for white. And it is a super pretentious event in which you are paying just for the experience. But the older I get, the more I realize that I want experiences. That's so yeah, the way Dinner en Blanc works. And I actually have, I think the next vlog after this that I did was what the F am I doing about Dinner en Blanc? And I think it was actually me as Dinner en Blanc. Yes. Wait, now I'm like, I know you know the French. Right? Don't you? Something tells me you know the French. Well, one year I did do Dinner en Blonde, and I did wear more like a pinkish wig as opposed to a blonde wig, but I went full costume for that particular year. But I'm sure they have one in Miami. I don't know, but if you ever want to find out, there is a website. Je ne parle français un peu. I took three or 4 years of French in college. I mean, in high school, and the only thing I really remember is how to sing certain Christmas songs. But I love Il est né le divin enfant. That's actually, I think that's the only Christmas song I remember. I used to know Frère Jacques. I don't remember that. But I don't know if, Mrs. Fee would be upset with me that I did not remember much French from all of our classes. But it did help me when I went on to take Spanish in college. And my French name was Etienne. And they used to always remind me, like, Alicia, that means Steve in English, right? And I'm like, yeah, but it's so pretty. I just loved the name Etienne. So they let me have it. And it always reminded me of and I feel like, Marlene, you're going to be aware of this brand because you like the thrifting too, of Etienne Onye, the designer. And as an 80s baby, I grew up loving their stuff. Okay. So that's why I wanted my French name to be Etienne. But I do not currently speak the French, but at one point, whenever I become, because like I said in this video, I value lifelong learning. Whenever I'm finally fluent in Spanish, then I'm gonna get the French. That's the goal. I don't know what age that'll be, but we just gonna keep it going. And that's what we're gonna do. So, but back to what means more to me. My gameplay, so I can keep getting better. See, I knew you would know the brand. Than material things. And having done that this week, it kind of led me to, and that's also true still, I am appreciating experiences more than things.
Being willing to make some other changes in my life. Like, are you done, motorcycles? Thank you.
I did not
Led me to being willing.
This old apartment. Okay, yes and no. There was one plus of the apartment, that being right over the highway, sometimes the traffic would sound like waves, and that was actually pretty nice. Sometimes the traffic would sound like that, so that was not so nice. But I really loved living in this place because I loved living in Chinatown. Like, great part of the city. If you ever come visit Philadelphia, make sure you visit Chinatown.
To make other changes in my life. And in order to make room for the new, I realized there's some things I'm just going to have to get good at letting go, or at least get better at it.
Okay, so that's wild to me to 4 years later feel like I'm still working on the same thing, or at least fully understanding it differently. And maybe I need to write this down in my lessons learned. Because one thing I also realized today is I am exactly 90 days away from my 44th birthday. So I've been thinking about, lessons I have learned. And the thing that is really hitting home is that when you are continuing to evolve and aspiring to be a new you, a different you, you literally have to let go of the old version of yourself and the old ideas that you had in that version. And so, like, I came up against that this week in that I had to get my car inspected because it had expired, and the mechanic I've been going to for 6 years just like closed. And it was the mechanic that was in Chinatown. I don't live in Chinatown anymore. I have not lived in Chinatown now for 3 years. But I would go back to that mechanic because that's, where, and it's not like it was far, but I just really had to accept, like, Alicia, they're closed. Like, move past it. You're going to have to build a relationship with a new mechanic. And that fits your new self, and that you would prefer to have a mechanic that's close to where you live. Or closer. That was one of the reasons why you even started with that particular mechanic. And so it really meant accepting and letting go of that version of myself that used to go to that mechanic, that was my mechanic. That version of myself is done. And I have to accept that. Hey, Rudy. And that's on just like a lighter level. And I feel like I keep getting reminders of such. Like, yesterday, when I went out to this event, I had a what I considered very rude service situation. And I am an opinionated person. I do not like bullies, and I don't like people being treated unfairly. I certainly don't like you to treat me unfairly. And she was serving everybody around me like as if she did not see me. And when I called her out about it, I just acknowledge that that's poor service. Just acknowledge that what I just said is correct. Don't tell me like, it's all right, everybody's going to get served. It's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal to me that everyone's not being served fairly. And I realized, though, in this, I've still been ruminating on this just because, well, I don't want to say ruminating. I've still been reflecting on this because I've been asking myself, what's the lesson to learn in here? Because I got frustrated, and I got frustrated only in just a moment. Like, after our exchange, there was another woman next to me that, like, we started having a conversation about like our drinks, because they had these like really cool tops that you could close the top so you knew no one could put anything in your drink. And so we just started having like a different conversation. And so I recognized that current me moved past that a lot faster than I would. It wasn't something that ruined my night, which past me may have, because I would have been so frustrated about my inability to solve for it right then. The fact that I would just have to let it go, and it just wasn't there. And so I realized that if I'm trying to become this newer and evolved version of me, I want to be so unaffected by those things that even for in that moment, I reminded myself, you know what? I'm just here enjoying this experience. Is that fair that I was just ignored? No. But in the grand scheme of things, and I need to write this down on my things. 10 years from now, is this shit gonna matter? And the bottom line is no. So why am I gonna let it ruffle my feathers right now? That's what I need to remember to ask myself in those moments. And it's one of my life lessons from the 44 years I've been on earth, but I need to keep reminding myself. So let me write this down. Will it matter 10 years from now? This is for the future video. And I think that's the other beauty of having the ability to go back and see yourself in the past through your YouTube channel. Is you can see like where you have grown and maybe where you're still working on it. And see, that's one thing I am too, Marlene, about because I'm like, my money's green. So you don't want it because you don't want to give me the type of service I want. That's fine. I'll take it somewhere else. That's fine. But I was there as at a work event. I think the other thing that had pushed me over the edge, so I think it was like my ability to do it twice in a row, because the girl in front of me, okay, was drunk. And so what had happened was she kept letting other people in front of us because she was so drunk and happy that if somebody else walked up and was like, oh my God, that's the line, she'd be like, yeah, girl, just go. And I was having a good conversation with her, and I did not want to be that concerned about it. Okay. So after she had let like 3 people in front of us, and then she finally went, when it was finally my turn, the bartender really went to 2 people on the other side of me. And I'm like, oh, he ain't even with me. So I had already had the conversation with myself to be like, Alicia, just let it go. She's having a good time. Don't say anything to about it. I actually, as a matter of fact, wanted to check with her and make sure she wasn't by herself because she was that drunk and happy. And I was like, hey, I'm like, you have friends here? And she was like, yeah, I'm not here by myself. I'm like, okay, good. Because in good conscience, if she had been alone, I wouldn't have been able to leave that girl by herself for the rest of the evening. So yeah, and I think that, and that's all I was saying was what I said to her was like, like he ain't next. I've been sitting here, and that's when she was like, it's not that serious. Everybody's gonna get served. That's not the point, ma'am. So anyway, I think that made me feel better too, Marlene, that I feel validated in your saying, like, I speak up and say I'm next. Me too, because you're not just going, like I said, my money's green. And if I could have taken it somewhere else, I would have. But we were at a concert venue. It was the only place to get my thing. And but I did have a really, really good time. And that will show up in the next vlog whenever I finally, now that I'm back to being able to do a weekly.
My posture sucks right now. So one of the things I'm going to let go of this week is this book bag that I absolutely love. But I have to admit to myself, chick is broke.
I did love that book bag. Okay. Now, this is something I have also evolved on. I feel like I used to hold on to things like this, right? That it was a book bag that I love, but it broke, and I still had it in my head that, well, I'm going to repair it or something eventually. And it's like, ma'am, just replace it with another book bag that you love. You actually can do that. It's not like you're in a position where you can't. So care for yourself enough to just replace the damn book bag. Lessons learned. Okay. If that, me talking to old me, if that had been my friend, that's exactly what I said. I would say to her, like, you don't think you deserve a new book bag, girl? Like, you don't love yourself enough for that?
There's no saving this.
Here's the other thing, Marlene, about that, when the letting things go freely, is holding on to that now is taking up space for something better. And perhaps if we were willing to open our hands by letting it releasing, we could receive more. That's what I had to work on in accepting this. And I recognize that it was coming from a scarcity mindset. And that's why I try to focus more on the growth mindset aspect. I will get more if I am willing to let go of what no longer serves me.
My cat's decided to sleep on it. Her fur is like all over it. So like, stop pretending like you're going.
Oh, damn it. YouTube is awesome. This is why I love YouTube. Oh, Marlene, this reminds me, because right now, yes, I am about to cry. And when I said to you before about the crying on the internet thing, you're like, I cry on the internet all the time. But see, you cry on the internet when you were talking about stuff live and get emotional. And that is one thing. What I was talking about is when people make videos of themselves like, I'm having an emotional breakdown. And what it reminds me is that, so you had to set up the camera though to record said emotional breakdown, then go back and say like action to do it. And like, I just can't. It's not. So anyway, so I just wanted to clarify that your crying is not the same thing I was talking about. Because right now, thinking about my cat, really, I'm like trying to remain lighthearted. It's been 2 years now since my cat passed away. Exactly. You're crying in the moment because you are in touch with yourself and your emotions. And that is beautiful. I think that is great to be able to witness. But if I had a video example of the ones I'm talking about, or it's like, oh my God, it's like a TikTok. I'm like, this was the worst breakup of my life. But you can tell you had to set it up to slide down that wall. You had to. That was not a organic moment that you just happened to capture. You set the camera up and then slid down the wall. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I do still exactly, Marlene, it's planned. That's all I'm saying. But I do still miss my cat very much. And so yeah, it would be nice to have a book bag right now with my cat hair on it.
Going to fix this. And that is not good work-life integration. The time I could spend fixing this versus the time I could spend creating something new that might potentially make me money, or engaging in an experience that might lead to a fantastic memory that I have with people I love and care about. Well, I'm wasting my time. But
how about it?
I do
one resource you cannot get back. And that's, I realize in my whole thing of what I was saying about the scarcity mindset, like that's the thing I'm most afraid of being scarce, is that resource of time. And so I have to just, how would I say it? It will benefit me to just live more urgently. Yeah, I get it, Marlene. It's like, it's definitely like
want to spend
a friend and a family member. And I think any loss or death can affect us that way, and that there are moments where it feels like this literally just happened, and it still gets you upset no matter who that person was to you or whom the pet might be. Like
some time expressing gratitude.
I still have, like, I have a friend's pet who passed away that I would never say I even liked dogs until this dog. Okay. But I loved this dog. And the loss of hers even still gets me. Because she was a friend. That's it. Because she was a friend. So I get it.
For this book bag and what it did mean when it brought me joy in my life. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, Jessica Simpson.
Yes, Marie Kondo is right though about the just like, so thank the things. Thank the things for what joy they brought to your life. And also Jessica Simpson, I love the brand.
For approving a line that's designed with your name on it. Because this book bag was awesome. It had all the perfect compartments. I just loved it so much. I loved it so much that I wore it out. And it has given me all that it has to give. So thank you. So my lesson this week in What the F Am I Doing was about letting go, and that it's okay to let go of things that no longer serve you. And in fact, it might be good for you to do so, because if you can let go of the things that no longer serve you, you're making room for greater things to come into your life. And I'm ready for that too.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So all of that to say, I'm getting back to blogging. And rewatching my old gameplay, it makes me say, you know what? You're not bad at this. And you have identified a lot of the benefits that people say about YouTube, in that it is nice to have the video diary to go back to and see and chat with old you. And even seeing this, Marlene, of like being reminded of this lesson right now, yeah, it was apropos for me too. And so you just never know how your content might help someone else or even help you in the moment. And yeah, before I start to tear up more, because that one got to me. Yeah, exactly, Marlene. But I'm glad to know that when I go back to that old video, a lot of the things that maybe there's some areas where I'm still continuing to drive home that lesson, but that at my core and at my foundation, like I have the same values. I haven't dramatically betrayed myself, and that feels nice too. That feels really nice too. So that's what I have learned from rewatching my gameplay. I'm gonna actually go back maybe over the course of doing these video every day in August and watch some other ones. Like I might need to watch that Dinner and Blanc one as I could prepare to prep, so I don't forget anything. I don't know, but what I do know is that I managed to make it today with another video in before midnight. So, haha. But anything, I want to thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you, Life with Marlene. And one last thing I want to share with you all, that just in case, if no one else told you today, you are more than enough. And I love you. Have a good night.